Hey, this next step that I'm going to talk about is how I go about cleaning up the trim. I actually use Liquid Text. It's ink. I think I got this one at AC Moore. It was either AC Moore, Michael's, or Hobby Lobby, but I have a gut feeling I got this one at Michael's. But that's what it looks like. This color is actually called magenta, and it's scary looking pink in the bottle, and you're like, this is not the color at all of what I would expect the trim to be, and it's not. But when you actually use it and it dries a believable, I think a believable shade of what it would be years later. So when I look at a new Louis Vuitton bag, it always looks like the color is more of a warmer red tone to it. This is a little bit cooler. And so I'm using a brush. It's actually a paintbrush. I think I got this. This one's called Premier Amethyst, and it's a 0 is the actual size of the bristle. When you use this, I dip it in not very far, maybe 2/3 in, and then I wipe the side of it on the bottle. And then I actually hold, I'm going to do my little corner here. I hold my pinky, I rest it on something and I'm using my elbows to center myself so my hand's not shaking. And I just apply it directly right on top of it. And it's going right into where the seams come together, where the leather is probably stitched together. There's a seam, you can see the seam. Aim for the seam, okay? You want to aim for the seam, and then I lay the brush down flat on the side of it like this. And that's the best way to do it. I've been doing this also for several months. It wears well. So when it first dries, it's going to look like that. And it kind of has the magenta look to it. But over a period of time, because I did this one also, this is like a few months in. I think color oxidizes, it all oxidizes. After the air hits it, it deepens up. And I like that. It doesn't look like it's raw leather. It just looks like it has a little bit of a trim work to it, and I like that look. So I wanted to touch base with you on that first before I go in and talk about how I dry condition my bags. And I did touch base a little bit on it in the first video, but this is how I go about getting my cloth. I actually use paper towel, and I lay it flat. I'm going to pretend with just a wipe just to give you an idea. I lay it flat on, I used a paper towel and then laid this on top of it. Then I take any conditioner that you may have, and I like the liquid conditioners. I don't really like anything too waxy. I didn't have a chance to get in here and read what's in this. Actually, I couldn't even get the list of ingredients on this because I had considered using a skin moisturizer, and I'm going to try that soon, and I will let you know how that goes. But you can't see this. I need to lower this camera. I'm sorry. I don't edit these, as you can tell, so they're rough. Okay, so you lay the paper towel down. Then you're going to take your conditioner. This is the Apple Care. And I actually squeezed it out in a line, and then I took my finger and I smeared it. And I brought it right out to the edges. Then I let that sit and cure. Curing basically means drying, but when something cures, you're actually letting between, it's really drying. Once it's dried, I then have something that looks like this. This is the paper towel. This is with the Apple Care conditioner. It cured for over 24 hours. And then I cut them into strips, okay? They're dry to the touch. It feels slightly like there may be something on it, but it almost, you know what it feels like? This is an idea, guys. It actually feels like the Kleenexes that have the aloe in them. Has anyone ever thought about buffing with a dry Kleenex aloe tissue? So basically, I am dry conditioning the bag. So I'm gonna take one out. Now they're 2-ply. I'm actually going to just use it the way it is. I like to rip everything, like what you probably noticed when I'm buffing or when I'm exfoliating my bags. I actually rip the sanding paper in pieces because I like to bend it and turn it. When you're doing this, keep in mind, the more pressure you apply, the deeper the vachetta is going to get. So I did this one really quick. I'm just giving you an example of what I do. This is not the actual piece, but I bend it, and then I'm lightly going to go over it. A few passes. And then I'm going to let that sit for a day. It's going to look like there's absolutely nothing on it. And you'll notice when you condition your bags and you've gotten them nice and bright, and then you go and you put the conditioner on and it gets dark and it stays dark when it dries. And everyone's saying, well, what did you do next? How did you get rid of that? The only way that I have figured out, and as far as I know, I'm the only one that has tried this, unless someone else has, and I can't give you the credit because I haven't seen you do it. I had to sit and think about this. How could I get my bag conditioned and get the conditioner on the bag dry? The only way to do it, guys, is to apply it onto something absorbent, let it dry for 24 hours, make sure this is dry to the touch. If this is damp at all, this is going to get darker. That's the only way you're going to prevent this from getting darker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to do a 5 count, I did gymnastics and cheerleaded, so there were counts to everything with routines, but 5 seems to be my lucky number with doing this. I let that sit, and then the next day I go in and I buff it. And when I buff it, I'll buff it with a chamois. This is a dirty chamois, but like a chamois cloth, something microfibery. I've even used a 4-way buffer. You can get these. I'm a hairdresser, so I get them at the supply store. If you cannot find them, contact me through one of my sites and I'll see what I can do about getting you guys some of these. But this is a 4-way buffer, and the shiniest part, if you get your nails done, they usually buff you down with this old school. When you had acrylics, this is how they got your nails high gloss shiny. Same idea, you can buffer this onto the leather and it'll give it more of a sheen look. So this is how I go about conditioning my bags dry. I hope it helps you. Have a happy Sunday, and please let me know what you think, and good luck.